Hey everyone, this episode is brought to you by ankle blankets. Tired of those capris not keeping you warm in the winter, but you don't want to wear high socks? Try ankle blankets. It's a nice little wool covering for that exposed ankle. That way you can wear your low-top sneakers and your short-cut pants and still be nice and warm. Or, let's say it's raining out and you don't want to get the top of your high-top basketball shoes dirty, cover them with an ankle blanket. They come in 3 colors, green, hunter green, and lime green. Brought to you by the makers of foot condoms. Side effects of ankle blankets include spontaneous peanut allergies, reverse diarrhea, an inversion of the ankles, toes, and just a general warmth and a discomfort about how warm you are. Ankle blankets are, of course, another Donafart Industries innovation. Hello and welcome to The Critical Breakdown, the podcast where we start at the bottom of Rotten Tomatoes and work our way to 100% fresh. I'm Scott.
And I'm Max, and today we are talking about I Know What You Did Last Summer, rated 36% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Whoa.
And we know what you did last summer, Scott, and that's disgusting.
Yeah, we can't be put on a media like this.
What you been up to?
Oh man, busy days, busy life, but been doing good. I've been making time to watch a lot of stuff though. My New Year's resolution, I always talk about the mythical list of movies that I haven't seen. I actually made it up. It's 210 movies. My New Year's resolution is to finish them all. So I started December 1st, which is a little early. That's cheating, but I've watched 17 of them.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. And including How to Train Your Dragon and its sequel.
How to Train My Dragon.
Yeah, How to Train Your Dragon, How to Train My Dragon. And then the third one that's coming out in 2019, I think, is How to Train Our Dragon.
It's a sweet trilogy.
No, the first 2 films are actually excellent. They were recommended incredibly highly by a friend of mine, and so we watched them, and they're both very good. Music's really good, visually really good, and I like that it gets a lot better visually from the first to the second. And they were made in like 2010 and 2013, I think. Yeah. And that's not that different of a jump, but the second one was a lot more colorful and creative visually, I thought.
That's cool.
And it's funny, the first one is almost like a coming-of-age story, and then the second one's more of a classic fantasy epic. But I really enjoyed it. Both movies. I like the second one a lot better, personally. I'd give the first one like a B+, and the second one a solid A.
I saw the first one in theaters. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
My only nitpick at the time was while I enjoyed all the characters, I thought it was strange that like the youth had like standard American accents.
Yeah, I actually noticed that too.
And the adults, they had Scottish accents, but they were Vikings.
Yeah.
So it was like double weird.
Yeah, well, I don't have a problem with that because it's like a different world. So,
yeah. But
I had a big problem with Hiccup and his father having totally different accents. Yeah. Because his father, I'm blanking on the character's name, but is voiced by Gerard Butler. Yeah. And then Hiccup is Jay Baruchel.
So they did a good job, but that's just, like I said, a nitpick.
Yeah.
But I liked the story a lot. It was fun.
Yeah.
Toothless is adorable.
Very... we watched like a behind-the-scenes thing, and I think Toothless, they said, was based on like a cat and other like house animals, kind of, and its motion and stuff, and you can tell.
I think anyone who has a pet can identify with it.
The second one's really cool, though. It's a lot more powerful of a movie and more action. It's really solid.
It's cool, bro.
Yeah. And I've watched other stuff, but, I watched Don John, and I did not like it.
A lot of porn in that one.
Yeah. Which, I definitely don't watch in my personal life. So it was very jarring.
Of course.
But it was just, I honestly didn't even finish it. I didn't love the style of it, and I don't know, like nothing about the plot was that interesting to me. Like, I like romance movies, and this is sort of a romance movie while being a play on classic romance movies, but there wasn't even enough threat in their relationship for me to care about it. Yeah. Like, some of my favorite romances are like about time. There's a lot of threat going on. Not world-ending threat, but relationship-level threat, and this movie just didn't have any of that.
I feel like it didn't go far enough where it needed to go, both in their relationship and in like the aftermath.
Yeah, for sure. And one more that I want to give a shout out to, just so I don't forget. I know there's a lot of movies, Max. I can tell from the look in your eye.
No, I'm fine.
The Gift, directed and written and starring Joel Edgerton and Jason Bateman and Rebecca Hall. We had tried to find a way to watch it like a few weeks back. I don't know if you remember, but yeah, we did. But it you needed to have, I think, a Showtime or a Star subscription for it. So I just went ahead and bought the Blu-ray at Target for $5, and it was a steal because that's an excellent movie.
It's a $5.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with a $5.
Yeah, and it was very thrilling. Kept you on the edge of your seat. A lot of twists.
Was
maybe
it
a turn
comparable
or
at all
two.
to The Invitation?
No.
Okay.
It's not similar in any way.
Cool.
Just in like The Invitations are like a bottling movie. Everything's in one place.
Yeah, bottling.
It's like a horror kind of.
It's true.
This wasn't so much horror. It was like a psychological thriller.
Gotcha.
What have you been watching though, man? You told me you were watching some good stuff. What were you watching?
Oh, well, I watched a lot of stuff, but I'm going to narrow it down to 2 films. Singles and How to Be Single.
There's a theme going on there.
Yeah, which is weird.
Singles is Cameron Crowe, right?
Yeah, it's Cameron Crowe. It's the movie he did right after Say Anything. Great film. So Singles is set in like peak Seattle grunge era of the 90s.
Yeah.
And kind of like lives off that atmosphere. Matt Dillon looks amazing with long hair and plays a grunge rocker. He's actually really amazing in the film. He plays the role like perfectly.
Would you say he topped his performance in Takers?
Hands down.
Good.
I want you to watch this film just to see Matt Dillon, basically.
Well, I'm a Cameron Crowe fan, so...
Yeah. And it's... If you like Cameron Crowe, it has this banter, it has this relationship.
Classic Crowe.
Qualms in there.
Yeah.
It's good. I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Cool.
It was emotional. But it wasn't as strong for me as like Jerry Maguire, Almost Famous.
Say Anything. Which you love.
Which I love. Great film. I mean, but it was good. It's definitely worth watching if you enjoy his work.
Yeah. Fantastic.
And then we followed it up by watching How to Be Single.
Yeah.
Which wasn't as good.
May I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Did you watch How to Be Single after Singles just because you had searched single on a streaming service and you're like, oh, this one has an actress I recognize?
I think I picked Singles and then my wife picked How to Be Single as a joke because it was probably in the same row.
Yeah, and you just toughed it out.
Yeah. But no, so we just stuck with it. And I mean, it's not offensive. It's just not great. It doesn't do enough as a film to be like stand apart. It has a really good cast overall.
Yeah, when we watched the trailer, I was surprised because there's a ton of like comedians from sitcoms and stuff that you recognize, but I had never heard of the movie.
Yeah, it had Alison Brie, Rebel Wilson, had the tall guy from Workaholics.
Yeah.
Whose name I forgot. Had Damon Wayans Jr.
It had Pete from The Office.
Leslie Mann.
Dakota Johnson.
Who was the weak point of the film for me. And my wife actually pointed out, like, at first she thought it was Mary Elizabeth Winstead because she just saw her hair and they have similar hair in there.
It was a very Winsteady hair.
And she was just like, oh, it's this girl. I don't really care for this girl. And it was just, she's whatever.
She seems like a very milquetoast lead. Yeah. Like your good, steady, solid lead to play off of the strangeness of a Rebel Wilson.
Yeah. And the plot is with, like, she wants to kind of experience life for a little bit, so she goes on a break with her boyfriend. She's never really been single, so she's kind of learning how to be single.
Sure.
And then it's just, you don't really have interest in her story because, like, whatever, just go be single. I actually found her...
I've been doing it for years.
In the movie, her sister's played by Leslie Mann, who is a, like, OBGYN. She delivers babies, and she's just been very gung-ho on her career. Yeah. And then she just all of a sudden decides she wants to be a mom.
Yeah.
And then she meets Pete from The Office at one point, and he's, like, way younger.
Yeah.
And there's, like, a little romance blooming there. And I thought that was way more compelling than anything to do with Dakota Johnson.
It's a more interesting plot device than just, like, I kind of want to try something else.
Yeah. And with Dakota Johnson's character, she's trying to decide between, like, 2 or 3 guys and her ex at the same time. It's just, you don't care.
Yeah.
So.
Dakota Johnson is kind of like a female Luke Wilson.
Yeah.
You know, like your straight guy in these wacky, zany movies, right?
she doesn't bring enough to the jokes.
Yeah.
There was a couple jokes she did that were okay, but they weren't like...
Yeah.
Like, I mean, she's acting with Rebel Wilson, who, like her or hate her, she knows how to deliver a joke.
Yeah, and I mean, there's bits around Rebel Wilson because
so.
she has the humor, you know?
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
And then you have Alison Brie, who knows how to deliver a joke very well.
Yeah.
You have all these other characters who just know how to do their humor, so she just kind of is there.
That's too bad, but what can you do?
But it's not the worst movie I've seen. I've seen a lot worse. I've seen, like, at least 36 worse movies,
Hey-o.
for sure.
Once again, Max, you bring that back to the podcast masterfully. Max, what are we watching this week?
I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Hit us with that plot synopsis.
After accidentally killing a man with their car, 4 friends try to figure out who learned their secret before a hook-wielding killer catches them. My guess is the hook-wielding killer learned their secret.
That's tough to say. He could just be a hired hand. He could be innocent. That doesn't make sense.
He could just be an innocent killer.
Yeah. This is just a classic 90s movie, right?
Yeah. We picked it. My vote was in on this one just because Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Yeah. And it's a very...
It is a very 90s, recognizable
very 90s
film.
Yeah. I don't think we've done a true horror movie since Master of Disguise, have we?
There we go.
So that was good too. I mean, we talked about a lot during the Halloween episode, but I am an outspoken, not a scary movie fan. And I did really good with this one, I thought, up until the end.
Well, about 30, maybe 25 to 30 minutes in, you had your first jump scare. Which for a horror movie, I mean, that's not bad.
This one doesn't really hit you with the horror
overall.
Right off the bat.
There's probably like 3 jump scares in the entire film.
Like, explicitly just there for the jump.
Yeah.
But if you're like me, I can make a jump scare out of anything. I saw La La Land again this past weekend, and I probably jumped like 8 times because of a sudden shift in the light.
Yeah.
For those I saw it was not very happy. It's apparently distracting.
I will say, early in the podcast, we discussed the 4 J's of bad movies.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't returned to the 4 J's in a while.
Yeah. I guess we kind of got out of the worst of the worst. So.
Who are our J's again?
We have Jessica Biel.
Yeah.
Jessica Alba.
Yep.
Jennifer Love Hewitt. And
Is Jessica Simpson the 4th?
Jessica Simpson. That was it. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
I believe we made James Brolin an honorary member of the 4 J's because he was in 2 bad movies back to back, I think.
Master of Disguise.
And I think he was in Accidental Love, maybe?
That sounds about right.
He was in another bad one.
Yeah, he played the senator.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
But yeah, Return to the 4 J's. Can't pass it up.
Yeah. And this is something I pointed out to you. Jennifer Love Hewitt has never been in a certified fresh film.
I had a lot of trouble believing that just because she's such a big actress, but it's true.
It's probably just because you hear me talk about her all the
time.
Yeah,
I'm like, she must be major. No, I don't even remember what her best one was. This wasn't it, but this is up there for her, which is not good.
She's definitely made a lot more success in the TV realm.
Yeah, she was in Party of Five, which I pointed out to you.
The Client List, The Ghost Whisperer.
Yeah.
She's had her career there. She's fine.
And the rest of the ensemble's pretty good here, too.
Yeah.
The main 4 is her, Sarah Gellar.
Also known as Sarah Michelle Gellar, but in this movie just goes by Sarah.
Credited as Sarah Gellar. Yeah. But she's obviously had a huge career.
Yeah. As well as her husband.
Freddie Prinze Jr. Your boy.
And Ryan Phillippe, who was the equivalent of human trash.
He played it well here.
Yeah.
And then the guy who plays... the glasses dude in Big Bang Theory. I don't watch the show.
Very specific.
I don't watch the show, so I don't have any thoughts on it.
He's the one from Roseanne. That's about all I can give you. His
Okay.
name's, I don't know, like Jared Jalecki or something.
Jared Jalecki, isn't it? Yep.
Let's just go with that.
Yep.
Taylor will probably hit us up with the answer.
Yeah. Another thing that's kind of cool about this movie is it was written by the same guy who did Scream, which is a beloved horror movie, beloved by the co-host of the Critical Breakdown, Max Rivera.
Scream is great. Scream is a 90s horror film that ages very well. It's very meta.
Yeah.
Also star-studded.
Which is pretty funny considering he wrote this one too, which is a very cut from the cloth horror movie when you think about it.
And it's funny because he wrote this one before Scream, but the screenplay got optioned after Scream got big.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah.
That is funny, though. It's like he wrote this one to be spoofed by Scream. But apparently, as soon as this one came out and was a big success, they optioned the script for Scream right away.
Yeah.
And this was a pretty big success.
No. Scream came out before this one. That's what I was saying.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. After Scream came out, they picked this one up.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But this one was a big success.
Yeah.
It opened at $15.8 million which was number 1 of its weekend, ahead of The Devil's Advocate, which Keanu and Pacino. Its total domestic run was $72.6 million, and it made a good 60 foreign as well. It's number 993 of all time, but its budget was only $17 million. So
that's $90s, folks.
That's $90s. Today, that's like $110 million.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it did well.
Yeah, for sure. No,
especially against that budget. That's such a small budget.
Yeah. I mean, they don't really need the budget that much in this film.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. Yeah. A horror movie like this, you can make for such a low budget because you're almost purposefully not showing the things that an action movie needs the big budget for.
And they spent their money well because they got hot teen talent at the time.
That's right. And
I don't ever want to say hot teen talent again.
You've said it before, though.
Siri.
You gotta like the casting director here, though, because this is all these stars we just mentioned at the beginning of their career. So it's impressive to kind of pick them out.
Yeah, for sure.
What didn't we watch?
We skipped out on 21, which is...
Sorry. 21 is the movie with the guy from Across the Universe.
We'll start that over again.
You don't like that?
No, the drinking and breathing. You hated it last time, so I'm cool with it.
Let's start over.
Well, we skipped out on 21.
Yeah, that's the one with the guy from Across the Universe, right?
Yeah, all I know about that one is the book or the real-life story it's based off of actually is about an Asian guy, and they switched him out with the dude from Across the Universe.
Jim Sturgis.
Yeah, so that's all I know about it.
Yeah.
Radio.
Oh, yeah, that's very close to our hearts. We recorded here from Charlotte, and that was in what? Tielhana High School in South Carolina, I believe in Anderson County.
The old stomping grounds.
Yeah, the old SGs.
Rules of Engagement?
No clue. I think there was a sitcom called Rules of Engagement.
Yeah. I thought this was Rules of Attraction for a second, and then I got excited, but it wasn't. So... And Matrix Revolutions, which falls into our blanket statement on sequels...
Yeah.
Which we might have to address soon.
Yeah.
Or today. But soon.
Not today.
Yeah. This is not that day. And then
I legitimately couldn't tell you anything about Matrix Revolutions. I've seen it and I don't remember a single thing about it.
It's the third one.
I know that's all I know.
Let's see. Let me try and remember Revolutions for you.
Yeah, and don't look it up. We'll just assume what you say is fact.
I remember there's a dog pile with Agent Smiths.
There it is. That was in the second one, wasn't it?
Okay, yeah, no, you're right. There's a rain fight with Agent Smith.
That was in the first one, wasn't it?
This one was like everyone in the Matrix turns to Agent Smith towards the end.
Oh.
I think this is either this one or the second one. Me and Paul walked out. I don't know.
You guys walked out of Reloaded, I believe.
I don't remember. I walked out of this with somebody.
You went so that you could walk out of it.
Yeah. And then Trinity dies.
She dies in the second one.
Does she die in the second one?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, because he resuscitates her with his hand.
She dies again for real.
Jesus.
That's what I'm saying.
She can't catch a break.
Yeah. It's bullshit.
Cool.
And then we didn't pick Eat, Pray, Love.
Yeah, that was this and Eat, Pray, Love were our two big ones this time. But
if we watched Eat, Pray, Love, I was going to watch Coyote Ugly to talk about it. Because they're both based on works by the same woman.
Yeah. And aren't they supposedly from her real life?
Yeah, they're based stuff like true stories from the same person.
Which is funny because they seem totally different.
Yeah.
I've never seen either, so I would not have watched Coyote Ugly.
I would have made you.
You would not have succeeded.
I'd have put it in like a How to Train Your Dragon cover and just popped it in the DVD player.
Like, oh, they finally came out with How to Train Our Dragon.
Yeah. Let's watch.
Yeah. But I Know What You Did Last Summer is based on a novel.
It is.
But the author of the novel openly hates the movie.
Lois Duncan.
Yeah, why does Miss Duncan hate the movie?
She hates it because the filmmakers turned it into a slasher film.
Yeah.
And she really hated it in the wake of her 18-year-old daughter's murder, which occurred in 1989. I don't know if the book is based off that or...
From what I know, the book just takes maybe the setting and the characters' names. I don't think anyone dies in the book.
So it's just like a secret.
Yeah. So that seems kind of in poor taste, but I guess once you option your book off to Hollywood like that, they can do whatever they want with it. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, it's still kind of shitty.
Yeah, no, I'm reading the plot now, and basically in this one, they hit a young boy who's the brother of someone's friend, and no one dies in the book.
Yeah.
Barry is played by Ryan Phillippe. He gets shot with a gun, but he survives, and it's just stupid. I mean, it sounds fine.
It's different.
Yeah, it's different.
And it's stupid that they made it. Why not just make a different movie with this plot?
Yeah. And
different characters' names and call it something else. What would you call it?
Murder on the Coast.
Murder on the Coast.
Or Hooked on You.
Yeah.
Or Life Sucks.
That's pretty grim.
Don't Drink and Drive.
Yeah.
College, wow, what a difference.
Please write the movie College, wow, what a difference right now. Stop recording. No, I mean, it just seems weird to me. But, because I don't even think this is a super popular novel or anything.
I mean, I don't know anything about it.
So, it seems weird. It's not like they're cashing in on the name. It'd be like if they made, like, The Hunger Games, and they just totally changed it to a movie about starvation.
I feel like pre-Lord of the Rings, it was free game on optioning.
It was just wild.
You got a title,
you
made whatever the hell you wanted.
Yeah, like Shawshank Redemption's based on like a 12-page short story. Yeah. But it at least captures the essence of it.
And that's cool. That's the good way to do it.
Yeah.
Then you have stuff like the Mario Brothers movie, which captures none of the essence. They do wear colorful overalls by the end of it for no actual reason.
I read today that the guy who voiced Luigi in the Mario Brothers movie died. Like
John Leguizamo?
I don't know.
Must be in the cartoon show.
Maybe the cartoon.
Yeah. Because I don't think Leguizamo died.
I just read it in a Reddit headline, so I was doing my research.
Yeah, got you.
So let's talk about this plot. Let's start with our characters. Our four high school tropes.
Our high school stereotypes. You have the wonderful, is it Julie Jones or Julia Jones?
Julie, I believe, was the character's name.
Yeah. Played by Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Boom.
You have Sarah Gellar playing
Helen. The beauty queen. Yeah, and Julie's thing, I guess, was just she was like perfect. Like,
she was like the book smart.
She was like book smart. Also, she was incredibly hot and seemingly caring. She had it all.
Was her dad dead?
Her dad wasn't in the movie.
She stared at a picture of her and her father and sadly stared at it, and then that was it.
This movie does a lot of things like that where it starts to touch on something and then just ignores it. Such as Ray, played by Freddie Prinze Jr., who the whole time they just kept talking about how he's not actually popular or something.
He wasn't rich.
He wasn't rich.
He was poor class.
But they never really explore it. They're just like, oh, Ray, you'll always be poor.
You know who was rich? Barry Cox. Played by Ryan Phillippe.
Yeah.
So basically these tropes we get, Freddie Prinze is your poor guy.
Yeah.
Ryan Phillippe is your rich guy. Yeah. They're partying on the beach together. They're high school friends.
He's your jock because he's going to college to play football.
Yeah, and those three, Sarah Gellar, Freddie Prinze, and Ryan Phillippe were aiming to go to New York for some reason. I don't know why they kept mentioning. Sarah Gellar was going to be a serious actress.
Yep.
Ryan Phillippe, I guess, was going to be an athlete.
Yeah, he was playing football out of school, I guess.
And then Freddie Prinze kept mentioning going to New York. Probably NYU is my guess.
He was the poor kid, right?
But he was the writer or something.
Yeah, they were talking about writing a novel or something. She was like,
they mentioned
it like twice.
She was like, you're going to meet some shaved head philosophy student with piercings and tattoos. And he was like, that doesn't sound good to me at all. And Jennifer Love Hewitt was going up to like Boston or something.
Yeah, I don't know. University.
Yeah. So that's kind of your opening premise. They're partying. They're saying goodbye. Yeah. High school's done.
It's right after the beauty queen pageant. Miss Croker. Yep. Yeah. Which Sarah Gellar's Helen wins. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And she, I think she deserved it based on her speech and everything.
Yeah. She wants to inspire people with her acting.
There you go. So she gets the crown, and so then the four of them go down to Dawson's Beach, where there was a massive shipwreck just on the beach. I assumed it would have been cleaned up, but...
You see that town?
It was a bustling little sleepy New England town. I love a sleepy New England town.
Can you be a bustling sleepy town?
Charlie St. Cloud was in a bustling sleepy town.
We'll have to check the records, but I'm just wondering. That seems like counterintuitive.
I mean, you could, like, a small town with lots going on, you know?
Yeah. A lot of bustle.
A lot of bustle. You can have a lot of bustle without a lot of people.
Like, come on down to Croker. We got a lot of bustle.
Yeah. We got so much bustle and not enough people to carry it. Croker, Massachusetts.
We also meet Max during this first part.
Yeah, who I think was really jonesing after Julie, which we all were.
Yeah. Good
But
line.
he was just kind of making fun of everyone else because they weren't him. But then he'd say to Julie, like, "Are you doing okay?"
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
To Barry Cox, he'd be like, "Hey, rich boy,
Yeah.
you suck."
Yeah, he's like, "Don't talk to me now, rich boy."
And then to Ray, Freddie Prinze Jr., he'd be like, "Hey, poor boy, you just wish you were rich. You're poor like me."
Yeah, he did say all that.
I don't even think he talked to Sarah Gellar at all.
No. What's also interesting is Sarah Gellar and Freddie Prinze had like 2 interactions in the whole movie.
Yeah.
They barely talked to each other.
It's a strange film, man.
Yeah.
So basically, what we see here is they party under this broken boat.
Yep.
You assume they all like hook up with their respective significant others,
Which they essentially show.
yeah, and then they go drunk driving.
Well, I don't think
It's really just Ryan
so
Phillippe.
Ryan Phillippe is drunk. Barry Cox is drunk, and he's out of their sunroof of their car, just drinking like gin or Jack Daniels or something. And Ray is driving, and he's fine. But then Barry spills a bunch of the alcohol all over him.
Yeah.
And while they're like looking down to clean it up, they hit a guy with their car. It pops up and hits Barry right in the face.
They pull over.
Yeah.
They're debating dog, deer, man.
Yeah, car is like totally fucked up.
Yeah. They find him. It's a man.
Well, first they find a boot, and they're like, it was probably a guy.
His face is fucked up.
Yeah.
The car's fucked up. Ryan Phillippe's fucked up. The situation's fucked up.
This election was fucked up. Ew!
Woo! Anyway, they're trying to figure out what to do. Max pulls up. He kind of like figures out they're up to no good, but he doesn't really do anything.
Well, no, because they disguised it. They carried the body over off to the side of the road as he's pulling up. Julie goes up to like distract him, and they make it look like Barry's just throwing up over the side of the road.
That's their best plan.
Yeah, that worked. Hook, line, and sinkers.
Yeah. And speaking of sinkers, it turns out they take this guy to a dock, the dead guy, to dump him.
Yeah, and then he's alive.
He wakes up, so they do the responsible thing.
And they throw him in anyways.
But this whole sequence has like this debate. They're like, let's just take him in. And their very stupid drunken high school mind of Barry is like, we take him in, we're in trouble.
They let Barry take the reins
we're in
on
trouble.
this one.
Yeah, and he's just like, we all need to promise we're going to get rid of this body.
Never talk about it again.
Never talk about it or I'll kill you, basically, is what he's hinting at it very hard.
The best was, and you mentioned this, but as they dump the living man's body into the ocean, the tiara falls off of Helen's head, and then the dude's got it in his hand. And so who but the incredibly inebriated Barry jumps in to the water to wrestle it away from a living person.
Yeah. I think the other three were just hoping they both disappear.
Yeah.
And like they could just write it off.
Yeah. No, but now that you mention it though, like I get right after it happens when they think he's dead, hide the body. I don't get it, but I can see why someone would do that maybe. But once he's alive, you gotta be like, oh, we'll help him and then everything's fine.
Yeah.
But then that guy might have been like, they were gonna dump my body. I don't know. It's pretty.
Also, later you kind of find out.
Yeah, more happens.
You kind of had it coming. Yeah. So.
But doesn't it just flash to a year later from here?
Yeah. After they all promise, it cuts to Julie in college.
Yeah.
And she's miserable.
She looks terrible. Yeah. Like she's got sunken eyes.
That's hard to do.
Yeah. They really hit. That was the acting job of the year.
So.
And her roommate, Julie's roommate, is like, you have to go back home. And she's like, no, there's still more to do. And they're like, no, like I packed your bag for you. You have to go.
Yeah.
So she goes back home.
All right, roommate. I get it.
Yeah. She goes back home, and I don't remember what she does first. I think she goes to see Helen first. Helen's working at the store.
Well, she.
Oh, yeah.
Does she get the note at college or at home? At home. She gets it at home.
Yep.
So she's torn up because this thing is set heavy on her for her first year of college.
Yep.
She goes home.
Which is understandable.
Yeah. No, you kill someone.
It was a murder.
She goes home and her mom sends... Well, her mom gives her some letter someone sent. You can right away be suspicious because it just has her name, her address, but no stamp.
Yep.
It's on parchment or something.
Yeah, and when Julie was like, Mom, like, who'd this come from? It doesn't have a stamp or anything. She was just like, I don't know.
Yeah. Whoa. And so Julie reads it and just says, I know what you did last summer.
I love a title drop in a movie.
Yeah, the titular line.
Fantastic.
So Julie goes to Shivers.
Oh, yeah.
To find Helen's sister, Sarah Gellar's sister, played by Bridget Wilson.
Yeah, the beautiful Bridget Wilson. She was also in Mortal Kombat.
Sonya Blade. Yeah. She's in some Happy Madison. Well, not even Happy Madison. She's in some Adam Sandler movie.
Billy Madison.
So, her very angry sister. I don't know why her sister's angry all the time.
Yeah, her sister was ticked off the whole movie.
I mean, I guess she just hated her sister.
Maybe she knew what happened.
Yeah, maybe she knew. But no, she was just like, Julie's like, hey, do you have Helen's New York number? And she's like, New York number? She's right over there.
Camera pan.
Yeah. It's like, she didn't have to be so upset about that.
Everything she was upset about, though.
Yeah, that's true.
And then they're talking. Julie and Helen are talking. Julie's like, did you send me this letter? Or did someone send this letter? And all this. And they're like, oh, it could have been Gary or whatever the Big Bang guy was. Max.
That's my name.
Can't commit that to memory. Maybe it was Max and all this stuff. And then the sister's just looking on with this disgusted look on her face.
Yeah.
She's like college trash coming into shivers.
So
the next they seek out Barry, right?
Barry, yeah. They're like, maybe Barry sent it.
Yeah. Which
doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense, but I guess it makes sense from a bunch of dumb kids to do.
He gets immediately angry and is like, why the did you bring this to my house? Yeah. What's wrong with you?
He's like, how dare you mention its name?
He's just drunk at like 3 p.m. on his like giant veranda
on his parents'
something.
like balcony.
Yeah. Just like screaming. He's wearing khakis and a wife beater.
Classic.
And he's like, no, I know who sent this. This was Max. Let's go beat him up.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay. So they go to the docks and they find Max.
And then they do. They beat him up.
Ryan Phillippe brings him into a back room and beats him up and is like, never send this note again. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
And he's like, I know you know that you know.
So they go to leave and then they run into Ray.
Does that happen before?
It happens at the same time. So we can do a little cut back and forth here.
You do the Ray part.
So they run into Ray and they don't expect it because they thought he took off too.
Meanwhile, Max is hauling lobsters in a freezer.
Actually, that might happen right after because they're still trying to make us think that Ray is possibly a suspect.
Okay.
But he is hauling... Let's just say... We'll put a little freeze frame. He's hauling lobsters.
Yeah, he is.
So they talk to Ray. Ray, like, sultrily jumps out of a boat. And he's like, hey, what's up, guys?
That's a good Freddie Prinze impression.
And they're just like... He was trying to, like, do a fake Southern accent for some reason.
Yeah, all of a sudden for this scene. And they were like, you're a fisherman?
Yeah. What happened? And he's like, guys, I'm poor. Yeah. That's what happened.
And they're like, oh, okay. Yeah.
These were pretty bad friends.
Yeah, no, this is a terrible group of people.
Yeah. So basically Barry's like, hey man, you suck, and like leaves. I think he says something to him.
Yeah.
And then
essentially what all this sets up is they're not that close of friends anymore at all.
Yeah.
And, someone's kind of stalking them.
This is the weird part because this is the first time she says it. Julie to Freddie Prinze Jr. is like, I don't even want to know you, and there's just like leaves.
Yeah. It was pretty savage.
Yeah. I see why he's a fisherman.
Yeah.
So then we go to the lobster hauling.
Yeah, so then Max is hauling lobsters. And then what I didn't enjoy was at this crustacean fishery that he was at, right next to the big freezer that they had was where they boiled all the crabs. Like literally right next door. So you'd think, and it was on like a wooden rickety dock. So that didn't seem very efficient to me. But so then he goes to drop some crabs to boil. And then the music kind of turns intense, and you get some shots from like way behind and behind a shelf and stuff. And essentially, he comes in and he gets hooked.
Yeah, the key is they build suspense by showing you that he's using a hook to like, I don't know, shuck crabs.
So, well, you pull the ice and stuff around with a hook,
and then the hook goes missing, and then the hook reappears in his head. Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is weird because he bled out all over like a boiling pot of crabs.
It'll boil out.
They're blood crabs.
No, they can sell them for more.
That's true.
Now, the funny thing here is Max dies and literally no one of them or the town cares.
Yeah. It's true. It's the Michael Jordan effect.
Yeah, no, that's what I was just thinking. It was like Space Jam when Michael Jordan got kidnapped. Yeah. No one cares.
So here we go through this long process of them getting a couple more notes.
Yeah, all of them essentially get a note.
Yeah. And they each face down something that scares them.
Yeah.
Barry gets chased in a car, gets hit by a car.
Yeah.
They meet up with him at the hospital. Yeah. Once again, Ray shows up last. And they're like, okay, Ray.
They're like, always last,
Yeah.
Ray. Because I think they still think it might be Ray.
Yeah. And they're still, the whole time Julie's still just like, you're a dirtbag, Ray.
Yeah.
And it's just building more and more this animosity between the group, but they're stuck together.
Yeah.
Because they know their secret. And it kind of makes sense, the animosity, if you had that secret hiding.
Yeah, for sure.
The next conflict we really encounter is Sarah Gellar's Helen. She, as a failed aspiring actress, is, depressed with her life. Yeah. But the duties of the Miss Croker pageant dictate she has to be in the parade.
She has to give the crown off. And so she's having this like freak out about it, but they keep building suspense. Yeah. Because they keep showing the slicker-covered killer. By the way, he wears a slicker. Like, sneaking in her house. Yeah. And then her, like, real shady sister walks in and, like, shit-talks her. Yeah, her sister's like, you have to work tomorrow. And she's like, I have to be in the parade. And her sister's like, that sucks.
Yeah, she's like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
And then she's like, no, I really do. And she's like, you suck.
Yeah, she's like, it's tradition. What do you want me to do? And she's like, work.
So it's kind of like they're laying a groundwork that she might be the killer.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
And then, but Sarah Gellar goes to bed, wakes up, pulling chunks of hair out.
Her hair got fucked up every night.
Her hair got fucked up by a hook.
Yeah. So someone gave her a weird haircut. Within like 4 hours, she has like a really nice short
haircut. Yeah, no, she pulled it off.
Yeah, so good on her. Yeah. That's Miss Croker.
That's Miss Croker for you. That's what it takes.
Yeah. So Julie and her try to at one point track down who they thought they hit with the car. Yeah. They kind of figured out there was this whole newspaper clippings.
Yeah, and then there was this whole side plot with Anne Heche. Yeah. Which is honestly...
By the way, Anne Heche is in this movie.
It was honestly pretty worthless side plot. Yeah. They tried to build up this whole thing where the person who got hit was misunderstood and there was all this other stuff. And I don't even want to talk about that part because it doesn't really impact anything.
It's a red herring.
Yeah.
But during that whole sequence of them going and like communicating... At one point, someone fills the trunk of Julie's car with crabs. Yeah. She keeps hearing like tapping noises.
She's driving.
As she's driving, she pulls over. She opens the trunk. It's full of crabs, and then Max's dead body
on ice.
On ice. Trunk. She freaks out. She slams it shut. She takes off running.
Yeah, because she was like a couple blocks away from either Barry or Ray. Yeah, I think Ray.
Ray's house, and Ray and Helen show up, and then it's empty. The trunk's
completely empty,
clear,
clean
dry.
Too. Yeah.
So someone lined it with plastic.
And how heavy do you think that was? That had to be like 250 plus pounds.
Also, how noticeable is that?
Yeah, because it was 10 to 20 seconds.
Yeah.
So that was a leap of faith you have to take in the movie.
Yeah. And what's nice is they did not do the "you're crazy" thing that we hate. Yeah. That's like in like in Mac and Me and all these other movies where like, really, that happened? They just were like, yeah, well, this weird shit happened to us. You're probably telling the truth. Yeah. Which I actually appreciate that they didn't like play with that. Yeah, that's an old trope.
They'd kind of shown that everybody would have a reason to believe it, like a plausible reason.
But then the three of them are like, wait a second, nothing's happened to Barry. And so they're getting more and more like suspicious of Barry.
Yeah. Didn't they say like he could have hit himself with his car?
Not Barry. Ray is who I'm thinking.
Ray was with them, though, right?
No, at this point, it was...
It was Barry again?
Yeah, Barry was with them.
Yeah, because Ray just kind of drops off
so
for most of the movie.
They go confront him at one point, and he's like, guys, it's not me. Like, seriously. Yeah. And so they're just trying to build your...
doubt.
Your doubt. Yeah. And they're doing an okay job.
You kind of skipped over one of your favorite scenes in the movie. Right after the crabs and Max get taken out of the trunk, Jennifer Love Hewitt knows that the killer's got to be near. Oh, gosh.
Yes,
and she just turns around and screams to the heavens like, I know you're watching. Come and get me, right?
Yeah, she's like, what are you waiting for?
Yeah, what are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for? And it's classic.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. The camera switched to like a bird's eye view of it.
It's definitely like the scene I remember from this film the first time I saw it back in the day.
It's memorable for sure.
So basically from here, things get pushed a little further.
Yeah.
Helen... eventually does make it out to her parade.
And Barry was just sitting on the float with her like bodyguards.
He's like, I'm gonna protect you. Yeah. Anywhere you go, I'm gonna go.
Yep. So kind of setting up that romance again.
And things get a little hectic when he sees a slicker wearing man in the crowd.
Yep, and chases him down.
Turns out to just be some grandfather.
Just be some old dude, probably a World War II vet.
Then she looks around the parade audience and sees like 40 guys wearing slickers because it's a bustling, sleepy beach town.
Slickers are very popular in a bustly, sleepy beach town.
It's like the trend.
They also do see one very suspicious slicker up on the roof.
Yeah.
Who's holding a hook.
A rooftop slicker.
Yeah. You don't want those in a beachy, bustling sleep.
Beachy, bustling sleep town.
Just move on.
So we know that he's watching them still.
Yeah.
And then...
and I think Julie is kind of separate at this point because she's probably like hanging out with Anne Heche again. Yeah. She goes out a couple times to talk with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's going out doing Julie things. But the movie opens with a drunken guy like crying.
Oh, yeah. With his I love oil button.
Yeah. And I think it was probably the girl's name that we don't remember. Yeah. But basically this guy hit his own girlfriend, drunk driving like a year before, was depressed about it. And so Julie starts to think, wait a second, maybe he like wanted to kill himself.
Yeah.
Because Anne Heche is this guy's sister. Yeah. And she's like, I think he just wanted to die.
Yeah.
She's a really weird southerner in
That's
this
a
film.
great Anne Heche.
And yeah, so we see Julie trying to like piece this together, and she's like, this doesn't really make perfect sense, but it kind of makes sense.
At one point, like I think the only really important thing that comes from this is Julie asks Anne Heche if her brother had any friends who came and visited him afterward. Yeah. And Anne Heche's like, oh, just this one guy named Billy. I don't remember anything about him.
Yeah.
And so she's trying to track down Billy for this whole time, thinking he would know more or maybe be involved.
Yeah. And his full name was Billy Blue.
Well, all they knew was Billy.
Well, she said it was something like Billy Blue, and Heche did. But she wasn't like sure. She was like, I don't know if that's it.
So listeners, put a pin in that for now.
Yeah. So.
The night of the parade. Well, wait, no, because I'm pretty sure Barry's dead by now.
Well, no, at the pageant.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the pageant.
The pageant.
She's like up front to like hand off
the sash and the tiara and stuff.
Barry's upstairs
in the balcony
where they first were watching their friend win in the balcony. And then he just gets killed to death.
Yep,
she sees him getting killed to death from down
she could see the guy in the slicker walking up to him. She's like, someone's going to kill him. And they're just like, what?
Yeah, so they all act like she's crazy.
And he's actively being murdered. And she's like, he's actively being murdered. And they're like, you're nuts. Like, you don't have the crown anymore.
So like 45 minutes later, they go upstairs and there's no blood.
And doesn't she get pulled into a cop is like talking with him there too, yeah.
And so she gets like pulled in the cop car.
How is there no blood?
Yeah, I don't know. And they take off. And then they see a guy who's like needs
help.
help.
Truck is like pulled out into the alley with the hood up, and the cop's just like, oh, let me go check this out. It'll just be a minute. Yeah. And he walks up there, and it's a guy in a slicker that she had described to him a number of times. He's just like, do you need any help? And then he gets hooked too.
And he's like, blam, kills him.
Time.
Yeah, you got you hooked.
So then he starts coming after her in the cop car. She's got to kick her way out of it.
Kick her way out of a window.
I was surprised. I thought she was just going to open the door and go out, but you can't open the inside of a cop car door.
Miss Croker can. Yeah, well, she could break the window.
Yeah, so she just kicks out and runs. She runs back to Shivers.
Where her sister's working. And it's actually Shivers.
Oh, my bad.
No, but her sister's still working because her sister's a workaholic.
She's closing up shop.
Yeah, and for most of her run to the store, she's getting chased by Slicker Man.
Yeah.
And her sister's like, what's wrong? What's wrong with you?
Open the door. Open the door.
I'm
being chased.
And so then her sister.
So if a 19-year-old girl runs up to the store and is like, I'm being chased, do you walk to get the keys, or do you maybe put some pep in the step?
If it's your shitty sister,
yeah,
you just roll your eyes.
She just moseys on over to get the keys and is like, hold on. She's getting mad at her.
Yeah. So basically, this scene is the sister getting killed.
Yeah. So the slicker takes the back door. And kills old Sister Helen.
Yeah.
And then Helen's hiding, and there's this weird like pulley lift elevator thing that she pulls on for a little while, and then he goes upstairs, and then she goes back downstairs. Yeah. He pretends to be a mannequin for a second.
And then kills her. Yeah. So then, well, actually, she runs out a little bit longer, but then gets killed by some tires. But
yeah. She got back to the parade. She was about 20 feet from the parade. She was running, and then she just stops and turns around, and there's nothing there. And she turns back around. The Slicker's there.
Yeah. What part of the parade didn't notice Slicker Man walking through?
Oh, dude, I have no clue.
It's a weird sleepy beach town, man.
Yeah, Croker. Oof.
Stay away from Croker.
Yeah.
So then,
so down goes Helen, by the way.
Yeah. And right before this sequence, like kind of concurrent with it, Julie was talking to Anne Heche again and was like, your brother, why do you think he committed suicide? And she's like, well, he left this note.
Yeah.
And the note, it said something like, it almost said, I know what you did last summer.
Yeah, it said like...
Because it was from the previous year.
I'll never forget what happened last summer or something like that.
And so she was like, your brother was killed.
Yeah.
And she's like, what are you talking about? She's like, I gotta go.
No, she was like, we hit him with a car. We're sorry. We gotta go.
Yeah. But when she saw that note, she realized...
Well, no. Yeah.
Because then she realizes
okay, now I'm putting
the
together,
girlfriend's
yeah.
father
Boom.
has also, like, went missing or something and pieced together. They never hit this dude who hit his girlfriend. They hit the girlfriend's father. That dude's body did eventually wash up. So, like, she was like, oh, shit. But she didn't, like... She wasn't sure about it.
It was a weird reveal.
Yeah. She was kind of, like, on the fence with the information. But basically, she's, like, looking for help. I think...
She goes down to the docks.
She goes down to the docks to talk to... Yeah, that's it. She goes to talk to Ray. And she sees on his boat...
Billy Blue.
Billy Blue. Like Billy Blew It.
Ooh, that's a zinger.
Anyway, so then she realizes Billy Blue talked to Anne Heche.
Yeah.
All these notes.
And she's like, you are the killer, Ray.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, I can explain. And then he doesn't.
So yeah, so she's like, Billy Blue, you went to Anne Heche, all these notes. It's
Mind
you.
blown.
And like you said, he's like, I can explain.
Yeah.
And she takes off running.
Yeah.
What does she see?
She sees a friendly fisherman.
Kinda, yeah. She
he
definitely
says-
sees a fisherman.
He says, come on board my boat. I'll protect you.
Yeah, because she's like, he's gonna kill me.
Yeah.
So she jumps on the boat.
That's the appropriate reaction when a young woman is running away from a man.
Yeah.
It's to protect her.
The other appropriate reaction, well, the inappropriate reaction would be...
To murder her on your boat.
To try to murder her on your boat.
Yeah.
So she jumps on this boat, and he's like, just hide somewhere in it, you're good.
Yeah.
And then
She goes below deck. And,
she goes below his deck.
And then
Below deck. Yeah, below deck.
Then she sees all his crazy man, like, articles about the killings and the killing of Susie, I think was her name, the girl from the summer before and everything, and starts to put things together like, hey, this guy's not too...
Yeah, she's like, wait a second.
He's like, this guy's not on the straight and narrow.
There's pictures of them all over.
Yeah.
And she sees his name, like, father of so-and-so, Susie.
Boom.
I think the girl was named Susie.
Klein, maybe?
Yeah. And she pieces together, this is the father of the guy, father of the girl, who the guy that she thought they had killed... You with me?
Yep, I'm with you. I get it.
This is the father of the girl that he killed.
Yeah.
So then she realizes, like, pretty quickly, he might have even exchanged words with her, that he killed that guy that night.
Yeah.
And then they hit him with the car. He was still alive. They dumped him in the water. He just got out of the water eventually. Yeah. So, like, he survived that whole lake, ocean experience.
He sunk pretty deep down there, so I'm surprised.
Yeah.
And he had to go face to face with Ryan Phillippe. Most people don't survive that.
It's true.
All of it. So then we have our last set piece here, which is Julie running away from him on the boat.
Mm-hmm.
There's some classic boat scenes, like she goes below a grate and he's above the grate trying to hook her. She crawls through an ice chest.
That's like that other movie. What was it?
It's a direct rip-off of all the scenes from Just Off the Coast of Virginia.
Oh, yeah, classic.
Yeah. With Jim Caviezel.
It's a bustling beach town.
Yeah. So they're running around his little cat and mouse game there.
And then...
Meanwhile, Ray sees them going off, and he's like, he doesn't know that this dude's the killer. But he's just like, I better get on that boat.
He probably has a pretty good idea, though.
Yeah, maybe.
I
don't know how he would have put it together.
Ray's like
he wasn't in most of the movie.
You're right.
But he's just like, I better go check on her.
Yeah.
So he gets on his little speedboat and speeds out there and then jumps on. And so they have a little more fun there. At one point, he gets thrown overboard, right?
Yeah. What I noticed is, like, they're fighting, and then she would scream out, like, Ray! And then he would turn and look, and then
he'd get hit. Yeah. That happened like 3 times.
But she never caught on, though.
Yeah.
So... so then this dude is, like, fighting Ray, trying to hunt down her.
Yeah.
She manages to climb through most of the boat, ends up in this room full of icy bodies.
I wish it was real ice.
Me too. But it was gelatin.
Oh, what can you do?
Like little plastic gelatin ice cubes.
Yeah.
And she finds her friends.
She finds
out.
Helen and Barry's bodies.
Yeah.
Ray gets back on the boat. I don't remember how. Like, he fell in like the fishing net and just climbed out.
Yeah, he just climbed up the net.
Yeah.
Onto the boat.
Yeah. And then I believe as the killer is about to kill Julie, Ray throws like a hook at him that's connected to a rope, and it just swings and hits him in the head and knocks him off the boat. Is that right?
No, it wraps around his hand. It does hit him.
Oh,
then,
yeah.
His hook hand
He like
gets
falls
stuck in the
or
ropes,
something, yeah.
And then the pulley action, it's still moving, and then just like rips all the way up.
Yeah, and
rips his hand off somehow. He gets like tangled in the ropes.
Yeah.
And then he falls in the water.
Yeah. And then they turn the boat back to shore, and they're like, we found his hand.
But also, Ray explains, he's like, I was never the killer. I was just trying to figure out what happened because I missed you.
Yeah.
And because I love you.
Which doesn't make any sense, really.
No.
This death scene, by the way, of the killer was totally ridiculous.
It wasn't satisfying.
It was like slapstick.
Yeah. It was just like thrown in there because there was no way to wrap up the loose ends.
Yeah. And it didn't do a very good job. But didn't they not find the body? Wasn't that a big thing? They found just his hand.
They're like, I'm pretty sure it'll turn up, ma'am.
Yeah, they're like, it's in the water, so it's got to come to shore sometime.
Yeah.
So all water comes to beaches. So
Direct quote.
Yeah. Then Ray and Julie, I think, get back together, right?
Yeah.
Everything's pretty happy-go-lucky.
Yeah. She's back at college.
She's back at college.
Her bangs aren't greasy anymore, which lets you know she's good.
Yeah, she's doing great. She's about to take a shower. She gets the bathroom nice and steamy.
Nice, like way steamy. Then
Very
somebody's like,
steamy.
hey, Julie, there's a note for you. And music kicks in. She's nervous.
Yeah.
Ends up just being like a party flyer.
Yeah. And then the music stops when she reads the flyer. She's like, oh, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Goes back into the bathroom.
And then scrawled, thank you, written on the mirror in the steamy bathroom.
Yeah.
It says, I still know.
And then
she goes and stares into the mirror, and she's like, oh my God.
Yeah. And then jumping through the mirror is the killer.
Yeah, he just breaks through the mirror.
And then the movie ends.
Which is even dumber, because I didn't even think about
Doesn't
that.
make any sense.
How did he get behind
Was
the mirror?
he in the medicine cabinet?
Yeah. Because we were... When we watched the film, we were like...
so there's one way in and out.
Steam up the shower, and then sneak in, remove the mirror, put it in front of him, and then poised, waiting for it to get close.
Yeah, because there's only one way in and out. The windows were closed if it's full of steam.
Yeah.
Didn't make any sense, man. That whole sequence doesn't make any sense.
Because there's a sequel.
Yeah, like she would have died right there, but there's 2 more movies.
Must have been a dream.
It was all a dream. And scene.
Yeah. So that's I know what you did last summer.
Max pointed out the last jump scare terrified me because I thought we were safe. And the jump scare terrified me so much, apparently I just like raised my hands, started shaking them.
He did spirit fingers in the
TV. That's such a cheap jump scare. There's no value to that.
Yeah.
It's not like after that happens, people are like, oh, they really got me.
Well,
it adds nothing to the movie, too.
Some horror movies, especially slasher films, try to do that. They leave you feeling unsafe.
Yeah.
But since this film did not have a satisfying ending, the jump scare just feels cheap at the end.
It is cheap at the end.
Yeah.
Like, the movie doesn't have tons of jump scares throughout the plot. There's a few more for me. But for the most part, it's a pretty straight and narrow mystery almost.
Yeah.
And then right at the end, that one, it honestly soured the movie for me.
I mean, compare it to something that's more skillfully done, like It
Follows.
Where you just see something in the background, it may or may not be it.
It's significantly scarier.
Yeah.
It sits with you for longer.
Yeah.
And you feel more uneasy. I felt uneasy for that jump scare for the 2 seconds that I was
and then you were
scared of something entering my field of vision.
Angry for like 45 minutes.
And then I'm mad
after.
and I hate the movie.
Yeah.
It's not a very good movie. The writing's pretty bad.
Yeah.
The acting isn't great. Yeah, it's very shallow. It's a great way to put it. I'm also not satisfied by the fact that 2 of them died, 2 of them survived. And Ray's not even in the ending.
Yeah.
Ray didn't, honestly, he barely needed to be in the movie. His character does practically nothing.
Ray and Max could have been combined.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Taking Max out completely.
Yeah. Yeah, you could have just had when Max was pulling up on him, he sees what's happening, so then he's wrapped up in it too, or something like that. Yeah, and then at the end, they fall in love finally. Max always wanted to be in love with Julie. And
I think it'd have been more effective too if maybe just Helen stayed in town.
Yeah, instead of everyone.
Yeah, or have Helen leave town.
Yeah.
As well. Have one person only in town.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
Or if like Helen and Ray / Max in town, maybe they became a couple.
Yeah, like
out
a
of
different couple
necessity.
than one of the.
Yeah.
They're just relying on each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
There's ways to just kind of, I mean, not tweak it. It needs a lot of work.
Yeah, it needs a lot of work. There's subtleties that could be added to make it better. I don't know.
And as far as acting, like the acting wasn't terrible.
No, but it wasn't great.
No,
I mean,
it was just a teen slasher film.
You don't come away with any impressed by anybody. Like all the characters were just stereotypes.
I think Jennifer Love Hewitt could have had a more successful career had she really leaned on the Scream Queen stuff.
Yeah,
because she screams well. She
hits that.
She's likable enough where you're not like angry the whole time.
Yeah, I would agree, but I mean, it's not like
but she deserved a better horror film for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, like I don't know if she could do like an It Follows kind of movie.
No, I'm just thinking like
because that movie's full of subtlety, or like The Witch.
Yeah, no, but those are a different caliber. Though,
yeah, exactly. It's hard to picture her in good movies. But
true.
Now, my takeaway is this is a bad horror movie. Mm-hmm. Its value comes from nostalgia, and it's like in this day and age, it comes purely from nostalgia, and from like. Perpetuating and building tropes. It perpetuates all the high school tropes, and then it builds scary movie tropes. I mean, that then Scream and the Scary Movie series will parody for decades.
It's Dawson's Creek as a horror film.
It really is, yeah.
And
except it's not even as skillfully handled as Dawson's Creek.
Not at all.
But I mean, what can you do? I guess.
Yeah.
I like the nomenclature for the sequels. Second one is I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. And the third is I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer. It's very stupid names. We watched the trailer for the second one. Apparently the Slicker follows them to Puerto Rico or wherever they went and like just starts murdering everyone there.
Slicker always follows you to Puerto Rico.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I will not watch the second one.
Yep. Maybe next time around. That's a 7%er.
Yeah. You gotta, I mean, for this movie to be successful, I think you cut the whole Anne Heche thing. That did nothing for me but muddle the plot. And like stretch it out needlessly.
Either like pare down to that actually being necessary.
Like make Anne Heche the killer if she's gonna be that. Yeah. And like the sister was really mean. There was no payoff. Ray's whole being poor and hanging out with the rich kids had no payoff. Yeah. None of these little things that they sort of drop had payoff. We kind of talk about Chekhov's gun you've mentioned, right?
Yeah.
Where if you show something, it should have significance. It should have meaning. It should do something. This movie is full of the opposite, where they just mention these little tiny things that have no meaning in the end.
Yeah.
Like the ice skates on Helen's wall. I remember she had this random pair of ice skates just hanging there, and she stood and looked at them for like 3 seconds.
Yeah, she could have stabbed someone with them.
Yeah, nothing happens with them.
Yeah.
She should have been killed with the ice skates.
Or she should have like fought back with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
you got to see Scream. This is what this is making
me think. Yeah, I don't love the genre, so I think some of the appeal of Scream will be lost on me because it plays off the genre.
But it's also just like a well-made film.
Yeah, which I respect a well-made film.
Yeah.
Like The Conjuring, I respected. It Follows, I respected because they're very well-made films. I actually just bought It Follows on Blu-ray. That's how much I liked it.
Nice.
This I have no respect for. It's not well-made. It's cheap.
Yeah. No, it's true.
I'll always see Sarah Michelle Gellar as Sarah Gellar now, though.
That's his takeaway, folks.
That's my takeaway. You have any takeaways?
I was not disappointed by Jennifer Love Hewitt's yelling at the sky.
No, that was fantastic.
Yeah. I was telling you, at one point the MTV Movie Awards spoofed that with Allison Hannigan. Because they used to do like spoofs of movies. Yeah. If you've ever seen the Yoda, who was it, Phoebe from Friends, the exchange there with Andy Dick playing Kiadi Mundi.
I have not seen that.
It's just Yoda repeatedly going, It's goofy stuff like that. But they had Allison Hannigan, and she was like, "What are you waiting for? My boobs to pop out my shirt?" And that stuck with me since I was like 14. Man. So.
I think at this point of Jennifer Love Hewitt's career, we can agree topless on screen would help her.
I'm not going to go on record.
Neither am I. Delete it.
My Google history speaks for itself.
Max, where can the good people find us?
You can find us cruising around a sleepy, bustling beach town together.
Yeah.
Driving responsibly, not hitting anyone. Or at thecriticalbreakdown.com.
Yep.
You can find me and Julie Jones struggling through college in steamy bathrooms at Max Rivera Film on Twitter.
You can find me and Helen practicing her speech for the Miss Croker Fair at breakdown_Scott. You could shoot us all an email at thecriticalbreakdownpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts.
Yeah.
I know what you did last summer. Are we off base? Is it really good?
Let us know what you did last summer.
Yeah, no, let us know. And let us know what you're going to do this summer. I'll always know what you did this summer. Leave us a rating and a review on iTunes. That helps us out a lot.
It helps us out a ton. The more ratings and reviews specifically that we get, the more ranking we get in iTunes.
Yeah, and you guys want to talk about us with all your friends, so let's get us up those rankings so they're already listening.
Yeah.
And how about this? Once we get to 50 ratings, we're going to do a giveaway.
Giveaway. You heard it here first.
First.
You're here first.
Yeah. Our music's done by Jason Brown.
And our artwork is done by former podcast guest Josh Rivera.
That's right.
Catch this episode last week.
Boom, Space Jam. Watch Space Jam. Don't watch this.
Yeah, way better.
Yeah. And I got nothing.
What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for?
We're doing a critical co-host challenge. I watch yours and you watch mine.
I'm challenging Scott to watch Pacific Rim.
And I am challenging Max to watch Gun Baby Gun.
Catch us.